Hey everyone, Sean here, and today in this video I would definitely wanted to sit down and talk about Genshin Impact. I know it's been a while since I last made a video like this, sitting down and talking to you guys about video game of sorts. Well, today I am, I do want to sit down and talk about Sumeru and everything that we saw in 3.0 and pretty much my thoughts about it. So, I just, I've been really liking what I've been seeing so far with Sumeru. I am at least excited for it, to say the least. Now, when it comes to this live stream itself, it was more or less kind of like, it kind of felt unnecessary overall. I just felt it could have just been like a standalone sort of trailer reveal, and then if you want to look at like the behind the scenes and take a look at what the devs and the CEO have been talking about when it comes to lore and stuff like that, you can check that out on your own. But this live stream kind of like, it was neat. I'll give it that. It essentially was like a lot of fluff for the reveal trailer and then a couple of other footage that we wanted to see, but that again, that itself could have been a standalone sort of stream. And you could say that could have been, that is the case for all these presentations, but this is definitely no exception. I know it's like kind of nice to see people talking with passion and stuff like that, so, especially when it's like straight from the CEO slash like the head of Hoyoverse, right, along with the devs. It's always nice to see that it looks like they care for the game and all. But with that said, it just, I don't know, that could have been a separate video that you can check out for yourself and on YouTube, and kind of just like a nice little bonus instead of that being like part of the live stream experience. It could have just been like, oh yeah, here's this video, it'll contain this and this and that. I mean, do kind of do like a Nintendo Direct almost, or like those state of plays or anything to that sort, the Pokemon Directs, that sort of thing. That could have been easily that sort of format, but well, we got what we got, and there is stuff to talk about still. So the highlights for me obviously were the characters. We got to kind of like hear the voices and stuff like that. Alkaheim, I think his name is. I think he's the coolest one out of all the bunch. The guy with the earpiece. He's really cool looking. He's a sword user, from what I can understand. I'm definitely going to try to roll for him, but I do want my hands on the Dendro Archon. That's, well, the quote-unquote lesser lord, I guess you can say, for for the Dendro Nation, Sumeru. Now, please don't take that out of context, right? I want to pull from the banner for for the lesser lord. I think it's Nadiha or something, or Kusanali. I'm gonna call her that name, Kusanali. I think that's her name is anyway. Now, so at that point we know who that is. That's the Archon. It's kind of obvious of who that is because of the lore and all the stuff that they've hinted and stuff like that. We know who the Archon is for that nation. Anyway, I'll try to pull for her, but there are a couple of the units I do want to try to pull for, like Kole or Koli. Kole is pretty much the Dendro Amber, essentially. I do want to pull for her, but now luckily we all have a chance to get her in a way because of the upcoming event for 3.0 or 3.1 or whatever. You have a chance to get a free copy of Kole, or a free unit, I should say, which is earned through a bunch of small little events like exploring, taking pictures, and what have you, and stuff like that. It's just kind of like any other event, honestly, and that's kind of like one of the reasons why certain people in the community do feel like it's kind of like a mixed bag, good and bad, because it's really more or less of what you can expect nowadays for Genshin updates. It's just like, okay, it's a couple of mini games that is kind of unnecessary and sometimes like doesn't really fit what Genshin is. And for example, like right now, the puzzle with the gears is like, what? Um, it's just kind of just there to help you get more free mode gems. That's pretty much it. That's how I kind of see it, and it could have been so much more fun. It could have been like another like some sort of like enemy rush thing, maybe like a boss rush or something like that. I don't know. I mean, we're up to that point where we've faced a bunch of bosses, right? A boss rush could have been really cool. I know the abyss is there, but I feel like more like a high score kind of mode could have been really nice, especially when if it's permanent, right, in the future. I rather have that than how the abyss is sort of formatted. I much rather go for like a high score sort of mode to earn my gems or whatever, than to do what you usually do in the Spiral Abyss, which is based off of time. That should be its own. I mean, it is its own thing. It's essentially a time attack, and it's basically just been there for forever, forever ago. And I think we're due for another permanent mode, right? So that's another sort of, I think, another reason why some people are kind of just like indifferent about it. All in all, I mean, it is nice to see Sumeru and all the stuff, like the characters and stuff like that. It's nice to see new characters, but it's just kind of like the same thing. I mean, it's the same thing that kind of happened with Inazuma. It was great to see all the characters, and of course there's exploring, right? But you're only gonna do so much, and you're gonna be at the point where it's like, well, we're back to this situation again, of just not really doing much other than dailies and commissions, spending your resin, what little resin you have, on whatever domain you want to farm for or at, and that's just essentially it. It's just kind of like how things are gonna go again, which is disappointing in that regard. So honestly, I think like once this update is over, there's gonna be probably a good handful of people kind of be going away from it, at least on from a more active basis to like a very much like a hobby kind of basis. Although for me it is kind of a hobby. I like to make videos about it, but it's not like this channel is mainly about Genshin Impact. Here and there I like to make some videos about it, talking about stuff, right, just like this one. But it kind of sucks that you can't really do much with it, especially with how popular it is and how rich the lore is, and the characters are just so adorable or lovely, fantastic, cool, whatever, right? But it's just so shallow by the time you get to really the core of it, like the end game of it, quote unquote. That's just kind of like what it is, pretty much. It's just kind of like the same thing over and over again. Yay, cool characters, right? Cool, cool location, all right. More stuff to explore. That's cool, but once you are done with that, that's that's it again. The cycle repeats itself, and more and more people are gonna just catch on to it. Granted, yes, there are new players coming in every day, I guess, but the big veterans, have already caught on to this sort of pattern, and I think this is the part where more people are going to make decisions about it, whether to just stick with it or not. I do understand that there are a number of people who got popular off of Genshin Impact, and it's essentially their go-to, but you can only do so much, especially during these dry spells, right? Now that is going to be addressed somewhat to some extent, because they did say that each update, I guess now, is going to be every 5 weeks or something like that. At least major updates, I think, is going to be 5 weeks instead of longer. That way, you have a little more content flowing in, right? And so that also means that they lowered the requirements for the battle pass, which makes sense because you have now a shorter amount of time to complete the battle pass. So that's why they lowered the level up sort of requirement from 1,000 to 900 battle points, which, like, okay, that makes sense, I guess. So it does sound nice, but we'll see how that goes and how that works and what content we actually get for updates and whatnot. So now let's talk about the update itself. I know I'm like ranting about the situation around Genshin and content creating and how people feel about it, you know, in that regard. But let me try to focus now on Tamura itself. I do apologize. Now, of course, we have Tighnari. He is going to be part of the first new character banner for the new event banner, along with a rerun of the beloved shield character Zhongli. I think he's definitely the go-to in my opinion. Tighnari is potentially a go-to, but here's the thing. Here's the catch. He is going to be part of the standard rotation, the standard banner, because he's the standard Dendro character. So, really, I don't know if this is a banner that you should really go crazy for. Unless you really want to maximize Tighnari, then sure. But you'll have a chance somewhere down the road. You know, if you have like a limited amount of gems, you don't have to feel so much pressure to get Tighnari in a way, because you'll eventually get him down the road. It's just that, of course, you can choose to get him, you know, from any future banner. It's just that, yeah, he'll have a chance to appear in the 50/50 pity, along with all the other characters, which they also need to update, in my opinion. Like Venti, you know, you can't even get a Animo character from the standard rotation. That's except for Jean, but she's a healing character, sort of. So you don't really have an Animo DPS character or sub DPS of sorts. Either way, I think they should update that standard rotation, in my opinion. Anyway, back to here. Tighnari will be part of that rotation, so that means you have the option pretty much to either go for his banner, or just hope to get him from the 50/50 pity, right? So I'm going to go for that. I'm probably going to dabble into Zhongli's banner because, you know, I have a chance to get Zhongli again to get him C1. But also, Cole will be a part of that double banner. So either of those two banners, you'll have a chance to get the new 4-star Dendro bow user, Cole, and I think that's a nice opportunity to do so, along with the event that will give you one more free sort of copy of Cole. So you can either, you know, have a potentially, you know, at least a C1 or so on and so forth, depending on your luck with the 4 stars, because I feel like getting the 4-star you want is much harder than getting the 5-star that you want, you know what I'm saying? Because there's a pity system for the 5 stars. There's no pity system at all. There's nothing for the 4-star characters. So you just have to leave that up to chance, really, more and more than you do with the 5-star characters, in a way, of course, in a way. That depends on your perspective on things. But either way, Cole is, yes, appearing in those 2 banners first, and then for part 2 of the banners, there's going to be a double banner, both reruns, with Ganyu and Kokomi. I think this is going to be a chance for me to try to get Kokomi. I already have Ganyu, and I don't really need to get C1 Ganyu. I mean, I could, and that probably is the more optimal one, but I kind of want to get Kokomi because she's a really cool, like, healer / like, she can do damage along the way kind of character, which is funny because a long time ago I was like one of those people who kind of hated on Kokomi even before she was featured in the banner, right? There was like that whole talk about, you know, negative crit stats and stuff like that, but after trying her out in one of the trials, right, the trial events, that wasn't like, you know, the character demo, it was like something else. It kind of like made me realize she's not that bad of a unit, along with everyone else. You know, everyone else was put into that situation, right? After trying her out, it's like, oh, she actually is pretty good. She can keep your team alive and plus apply a hydro and just provide damage. You know, who'd have thought? So I'm actually gonna go for Kokomi, and of course that kind of depends, right? I mean, things could change depending on what gets announced along the way. Once part 2 comes out for that banner, for those 2 banners, of course, there could be announcement of another banner, right? Around that time, and that could influence my decision on that, whether to go in on Kokome's banner or to go in on the upcoming banner of the time. By the way, if I do go for that, go for the Kokome / Ganyu banners, I will definitely have a chance to get Dori. Dori is going to be featured in that banner as well as the 4-star, of course. We don't know the rest of the 4-stars that are going to be featured in the banner. But either way, that's the forecast of the character banners for right now. We have Tighnari and Zhongli for part 1, and then Ganyu and Kokome for part 2. And when it comes to the 4-stars, Cole is going to be part 1, and Dori is going to be part 2. So I think that's kind of an interesting start of this whole Sumeru update and stuff like that. But the one unit I definitely want to go for is Alkaheim. I keep forgetting his name, but he looks really cool. So I do want to go for him. He's kind of like that Zhongli / Diluc / Kaya / that tall guy, handsome looking dude, that type of guy. But he looks pretty cool nonetheless, so I do want to go for him. But I'm probably gonna spend the rest of my top up bonus for the Dendro Archon, Nahida, I think her name is. But anyway, that will be for something for us to wait and see. Now, meanwhile, the artifacts are coming with new ones as well. One with Deep Wood Memories and one with Gilded Dreams. From the top of my head, I'm assuming that Deep Wood Dreams is the Dendro set. Pretty much like lowers the resistance for Dendro when if you have the 4-piece set. And then Gilded Dreams, does something to do with Elemental Mastery for the 4-piece set as well. So either way, I mean, this could work potentially for some of the characters within Sumeru. Tighnari could probably use either of them. I think he might be based off of Elemental Mastery. I could be completely wrong, so please correct me on that. But for sure, the Dendro set is kind of like a safe go-to, kind of like just there, like, oh, if you don't have anything else at the moment, you could use that. But speaking of artifacts, I think this was the big one for me, besides the characters, and it's the Strong Box. The Strong Box is finally getting that update that we all deserve, right? We don't have to deal with 4 artifacts anymore. Now we can just have the rest of them almost. I think the Inazuma stuff isn't going to be there, unfortunately, but the rest of them from like the Mondstadt era and the Leeway era are all going to be there. So I can finally try to get more Witch stuff, right? The Blizzard stuff, and so on and so forth. Better Restant and stuff like that. Which is very welcoming. I was just really looking forward to it. Unfortunately, I've been spending all my my 5-star artifacts on Wonders Trope because I'm trying to like get my Ganyu to be pretty powerful with their charge shots as much as possible. But it is what it is. That's fine because I'm still trying to go for an artifact that I want anyway. But now that this is getting updated, I will try to save my artifacts from here on to whenever that becomes available. So it'll probably be a couple weeks from now, or less than 2 weeks, let's just say. So that is definitely something to look forward to. Definitely. When it comes to weapons, there's the 5-star weapon that we really don't know because there's no description for them. Well, at least one anyway. And then there's the 4-star weapon is the Marlin with the bow as a bow, right? Which is pretty funny, but that's a weapon, I guess. And so that's going to be coming for the upcoming weapon banner. But when it comes to forged weapons, there are new ones coming. So I already have a Catalyst blueprint, so I'll probably save up for the Catalyst Dendro weapon thing to see if it's even decent or not before I completely forge it. We'll see. We'll see about that. But it is cool to see that the forging, forged weapons are being updated as well as the strong box and some other stuff in between. Now, of course, there is no update on the resin cap, unfortunately. That's they need to do that, honestly. There's so much more to do. There's so much more to discover. There's so much more to farm. I really think they need to up the ante with that, right? And that not only the resin cap needs to go up, I think the recharge rate could use a little tinkering as well. That's just my opinion, anyway. But I think other than that, yes, we're getting new story, of course. That always is something expected for these big nation updates. What's interesting about this one is that both parts are going to be available off the start. So you don't have to wait for part 2 to be coming, like what happened with Inazuma and stuff like that. Both of them are going to be available at the time of the update, of course. So that actually is pretty cool and interesting in that regard. Of course, there's also new enemies, and that features like the Ruined Drake and the Terror Shroom, which is basically like a Monster Hunter kind of monster, which is, I think, is pretty cool. And the Electro Flower, the Regivine or whatever it's called. Also, there's gonna be like more cooking updates. The cooking mechanic is getting updated as well, along with the strong box. So it's cool, but I feel like there should be other stuff that definitely deserves the update, like the resin stuff, how much rewards you should get. There's still a lot of work to be done with this game, but hey, we're still getting new stuff. It's something. It is something to be excited about, to look forward to. But I really do hope they start to really up the ante and just just say fuck it and give what the people want, so that the game can have it's essentially an insurance of its lifetime, essentially, because you're gonna have more and more people fall off if it's gonna keep up with this pattern, from this point on, because it's just kind of tiresome. Now, I mean, with that said, though, am I still gonna play it? Likely, and I'm probably gonna make a few videos about it. But this channel was never about just Genshin. It's just stuff that I always play. That's my sort of 2 cents on that. But again, I know there are channels that dedicate their lives and sort of their career right now with Genshin. And so what is that going to mean if they're going to run into that situation? It's like, do I really want to keep going with this game? There's just going to be dry spells for sure. So you have no idea what to do with it. It's like, it's just going to be the same thing. Eventually. So, I wish the best for those content creators who feel obligated to make Genshin videos, at least to some degree. Especially with the guide videos, especially with the just content in general, like funny content. Just let's play kind of content. I don't know, highlights. I don't know, but that's the sort of game it is. It was never catered towards the content creators. It's just a game to make money. That's the reality of it, man. Yeah, it has cool characters, cool stuff in there and all, but that's really what's there for, is to make money. Now, yes, you could say for other games, but this is definitely no exception. But now, let me repeat this again. There is stuff to look forward to still, and I am indeed excited for it. But hopefully, things really start to change from this point on. And I know I said something like this before. I wouldn't be surprised. And I'm pretty damn sure people will feel the same way. For those who make videos, anyway. Anyways, that's all I got for this 3.0 announcement, live stream thing. Again, just an overview. I think this could have been like a standalone announcement, not a whole live stream for it. The all that fluff and fancy jazz and music concert performance thing and blah 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 blah. Like, yeah, it's nice, but I don't think that was really necessary for that. You know, what does it mean also for the English voice actors who always presented these videos as well, or these live streams as well, right? These reveals. I mean, they're still around. It's just that this could be the format to go on, you know, from now on, possibly. But you know, we've had this before, and then they jump back to the English voice actors, at least on our side anyway, and then, you know, jump back to the fancier, you know, presentation with the Chinese developers and the CEO, of course, and what have you. But that's for another story for us to worry about in the future. So, anyways, thank you very much for this, you know, for you guys' time. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any comments about 3.0 for Genshin Impact, for those who are still around, who still play it, let me know in the comment section below. I'd love to read them. And don't forget to hit the thumbs up, join the membership, click any of the links down below, including Glasses USA. It's a nice way to save on glasses. Cheap glasses, they're nice. I had a pair. It's still sitting around, and I could use them for backup, you know, in case something happens with these ones or something like that. As long as you have the prescription, you'll have a pretty good deal with that. With any lenses, they have like constantly like deals and stuff like that. So that's why I don't have a promo code at the moment, because it's like, you know, there's no real point at the moment. I mean, just so click down on that link below for Glasses USA. I get a cut out of it, and you guys get some glasses at some good deals. So yeah, that'd be really appreciated. Thank you very much for tuning in for this video on my opinion for 3.0, and hopefully this will be another fun one. That's all I can say. That's all I can hope for. So thank you very much. I'll see you guys in the next video. Sean out.